When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings. You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake.
Right.
And we're here to inform you of what's coming out next week. So, of course, you may or may not, depending on what order I put them up, have seen the other two, that we were all one happy family. Then we split up in an angry argument. Or not so angry. More like a logical argument. So now we're going to put all the things together that's coming out next week. Sometime between
physical release.
Yeah, sometime between Tuesday of next week and that following Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with the things that we normally cover, which is Blu-ray, DVD releases.
Mm-hmm.
So take a look at what's coming out to a video store near you. You know, like your Blockbuster or your Hollywood Video.
Mm-hmm.
I only have one thing
Movie gallery.
that I've got up here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Ocean's 8.
Yep.
Ocean's 8 is one of those movies that I actually genuinely had an interest in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know whether this is really good, and I've heard decent things about it.
Yeah.
So, again, there's two ways to look at things like this. You gotta say, is it legit or is it pandering? So, to me, from what I've heard about this movie, is it's legit. What I worried about with the Ghostbusters, it sounded like it was pandering. Almost came across as pandering when I watched it. And then, but I feel like it did not initially come out as it was supposed to be that way. But then there was a thought that, what if we make it like that? Then it will get even more popular.
And then that made a whole lot of people a sad pander.
Yes, very sad pandas. But to me, from what I've heard, Ocean's 8 looks good, sounds good. It did reasonably well. I'm willing to give it a good shot.
There is a fairly sizable
It's got a
wait list
butt
on
cast.
our library. Yeah. I'll be waiting for a while for that one.
But I'm interested in it. It's
Yeah.
on my list. I want to complete my Oceans series. It is related to the Oceans series. It's not a reboot. It's in the same world, I believe.
Right.
So I'm curious.
Makes you wonder who's going to show up, possibly. Or, I don't know.
All right.
Exactly.
So what you got for us?
Well, I got a few, mostly anime related, but one other non-anime one, and I was right that this is Criterion release.
Yeah.
One of the most artsy, with a capital A, artsy directors out there, who is very talented, is Terrence Malick. And one of his more acclaimed and overrated films of recent times is The Tree of Life is getting the Criterion treatment as
God,
of this week.
This thing gave me a headache to watch.
Yes. It was a good movie, but it was, oh my God, it was artsy and weird and just... But which will make it ideal for the Criterion. And it's a recent film, but it's not like brand new. As he just showed you, there is a physical media release already.
It's not a bad release either.
Yeah, it's a pretty good release. So it's probably ripe for a Criterion treatment. They probably could have waited another 5 years. But it's not at all shocking to me it's coming out. And
No.
if you don't have it, this is going to be a good way to get it. Definitely a good way to get
Oh,
it.
it just had art written all over it.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, Funimation Classics, which we've been saying so much about. Real Life is already getting the Classics treatment. Garden of Sinners is getting a re-release. I did not see this. I did not look into it, so I'm not sure. I just remember the initial release was so ungodly expensive.
It's still ungodly expensive.
It's a highly rated. It's like a series of films,
You said
right?
Garden of Sinners, isn't it?
Yeah. And then Yona of the Dawn is one that I'm actually very interested in seeing. I don't know why. It just something about it intrigues me. I seem like I read good things about it. And then one I don't remember squat about. I wouldn't have even thought to mention it, except for the fact that Action Heroine Cheer Fruits is apparently coming out next week. I found it on eBay dirt cheap and put in a bid just because it was dirt cheap. Oh my, $249.98 is the retail for Garden of Sinners box set. But from what I remember, that is cheaper than the initial release. But at any rate, this cheer fruit thing, I put in a bid because it was a brand new unopened Sentai that was
Apparently.
like $6. I didn't realize how brand new it was.
Very brand new.
If you want to get this before it's officially released, or you could just order it from Right Stuff, which is probably where they got it from.
I mean, sometimes when you order things from certain companies, Right Stuff included. I mean, shoot, I got the copy.
Well, Sentai included.
Yeah.
You know, Sentai tends to ship early,
Oh, yeah.
even though they have a street date. If you order directly from them, you'll probably get it early. If you order from Right Stuff, you'll certainly get it early.
Even Shout Factory. When I pre-ordered what is it? Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
I got it a full 2 weeks before its street release
Right.
date. And
Or
I
if
didn't
you
realize
remember what
that.
happened with Squid Girl, like they pushed it back a full month, and then we ended up getting it like 2 weeks before it was
Yeah.
supposed to come out. It's like-
Just in general.
But yeah, that pretty much, I guess, that covers for this week as far as the movie releases.
So, the next up. So, let's talk about our newer categories.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, we'll start with one of the ones that we already had on here, and then the other two new ones. So, let's start off with game releases. Very short week.
Very short.
Actually, and the time it took me to do that was probably the time it was over. There are only 4.
Yes.
The one of note is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've heard that's supposed to be really good, look really nice. It's a part of that new Tomb Raider thing that they based like the new movie off of and all that. I've got the first game in that series because it came for free. I just haven't had the time to play it.
I'm also a little curious about Black Clover, but I don't know anything about it. I just
I don't even know the anime.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an anime manga. Yeah, we have the manga at the library, and that's one of the reasons why it's on my radar. It's like I feel like I need to check that out and read it, but I don't know the relationship the game has to the franchise or what have you. But
Speaking of manga,
speaking of,
Well,
books and manga.
See, so we had a comment earlier on about books. So I said, you know what? Why don't we add it? Because books are a part. I know that you work at a library, for goodness sakes, at times.
And I do closely follow manga releases because I want us to get them, and it doesn't happen very quickly. But...
So, of course, what I'm doing with this is because hunting down comic books would take me forever, I'm just including the manga, and it also took me near forever, and regular novel releases. So let's take a look at what's coming to a bookstore near you.
When you're needing someone to bring you freedom, 'cause you're out of saving grace. When the world comes undone and you're feeling outrun, and it's more than you can take. When you're waiting for that phone call or some wild revelation, but you can't relate, and the magic's fabricated. Let me be that familiar escape. Infinitum. Between two walls, we're overwarm but keeping on. Tried to up your pace, but tripped and lost the race, and couldn't make it on your own. When you're waiting for that phone call or some wild revelation, but you can't relate, and the magic's fabricated. Let me be that familiar escape. Infinitum. Let me be that familiar escape. Infinitum. So deep within, I hear your voice that draws me in. Sing it once again, don't let it out. So deep within, I hear your voice that draws me in. Sing it once again, don't let it out, 'cause I can hold it in now. No, no. Infinitum. Let me be that familiar escape. Infinitum. Infinitum.
Alright, so, what do you got for us? Because I really, I mean, there was a Sailor Moon. I can't remember
Yeah.
whether that was a re-release, a Sailor Moon Eternal. It was, I think it's just a repackaging, but
That's what it looked like, but I need to look into that myself.
I need to
but
look into it
yeah.
more, yeah.
Sailor Moon's one that I've been meaning to check out the manga and read it.
Oh, yeah. Awesome
But
manga.
there were 3 manga. I was a little surprised to find out that Hayate, the combat butler, is still going. But they're up to volume 32, and I'm kind of curious about that. But 2 that I'm genuinely curious about, and I'm just one of the most acclaimed anime of the past few years. I have not yet seen an episode of it, but I've heard so much about it. There is a show called The Ancient Magus Bride, which is supposedly very, very, very good. Volume 9 of the manga is coming out this week. And a show that I know is really good because I've seen it and I love it. Incidentally, have an eBay auction on this series right now. But Toradora Volume 8 will be coming out in manga form.
Good series.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, our last newbie of this is one that I actually have very little to say about. But I figured, we're covering all these genres. Let's go ahead and add music to it. I found something easily accessible to show me what albums are coming out.
Okay.
So let's take a look at what's coming to the next music store, provided they still exist, near you.
Yeah, let's go. I'ma make a couple stacks, do exactly what I want to. Mix a couple tracks, get a lady that I'm drawn to. Turn up to the max, get me faded till I'm gone, dude. I do what I want, couldn't stop me if you wanted to. I just work hard, yeah, harder than the rest. Some people say I'm lucky, others saying that I'm blessed. But I keep my head down, cause I crave progress. You ain't never gonna stop me, cause it's my conquest. And I'm never gonna rest, yeah. And y'all don't know that I'm a soldier. I always felt like I'm alone, yeah. When everybody thinks they know, yeah. And y'all don't even know I own, yeah. And now I'm ready taking over. Cause every day I'm getting closer. Just look at everything I'll show ya. And now I'm ready, I'ma blow up. Yeah. Grow up. I keep working to the point I throw up. And if you cross me, it was good to know ya. I'm impatient, I don't ever slow up. I stay young, no, I never grow up. I keep working to the point I throw up. And if you cross me, it was good to know ya. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not the type to take no for an answer. I don't deal with people that are like a cancer. No, instead I hang with the people that enhance ya. And I'm not the type to give out second chances. I just wanna work on my own for myself. I don't need no help, not anybody else. Nah, man, I got it dealt. I'm working on my wealth and I'm working on my health. Keep on working to excel, cause I'm working on myself. Yeah, and y'all don't know that I'm a soldier. I always felt like I'm alone, yeah. When everybody thinks they know, yeah. And y'all don't even know I own, yeah. And now I'm ready taking over. Cause every day I'm getting closer. Just look at everything I'll show ya. And now I'm ready, I'ma blow up. Yeah. Man, I promise that I'm gonna make it somewhere. As long as I'm conscious, I'll be working hard to get there. I am not a novice, I'm gonna be the best, so prepare. Cause you know I'm honest and I'm coming for you, be scared. Man, I promise that I'm gonna make it somewhere. As long as I'm conscious, I'll be working hard to get there. I am not a novice, I'm gonna be the best, so prepare. Cause you know I'm honest and I'm coming for you, be scared. Y'all already know.
So,
or iTunes or Spotify or whatever.
Well, that's where it's all going eventually. But as physical media, I mean, I prefer if I got it on CD. There's something comforting about a CD disc.
Yeah, and I mean, I put a lot of music on the computer because I like to have it that sort of free form. Yeah, but I also love just sitting and listening to an album. I don't do it a lot because time, but I'd like to.
I wonder if download is really killing the concept of the album.
There's a lot of argument to that effect, but and to a degree there is, because people want their songs. They don't necessarily want albums. Yeah. It's a shame, but there are still albums coming out. But anyway, There's a lot on that list, as you saw.
Oh,
And I have to admit, most of those acts I'm really not familiar with at all. The two that I'm most familiar with are Willie Nelson and Carrie Underwood. We've got a new Willie Nelson called My Way, a new Carrie Underwood called Cry Pretty. Some of these groups caught my attention because I like their names. There's some good names on there. But I do listen to a broad range of music, and I do listen to a lot. This probably makes it sound like I'm just country. I'm not by any means, but a lot of the groups that I am familiar with just weren't on the thing this week.
Oh yeah.
And there's so much music. There's
I need
so
to
much
get back
out there.
into music again and just figure out
Yeah.
what people listen to. It's just I'm out of touch.
Yeah.
But there's just so little time in life.
So little time, so much to do.
But I hope you enjoy this particular. So, any case,
Yes.
if you like this video, click the thumbs up. Of course, share. Sharing is caring after all. And tell us what you think. Is there anything in here that you're excited about? An album, a book coming out, a new series on TV, anything that you see here, is there's anything that's really cool, or something that's coming out on DVD that we haven't caught up with, that we didn't catch? And keep in mind, this is a week ahead schedule time. But
for us poor people, is it worth it to blow our budget on Garden of Sinners? You know, or or which bands does he need to listen to post haste?
I know. Actually, I'm a '90s kid who didn't get into '90s bands until the early 2000s. I was listening to '60s and '70s bands at that time, mostly '70s, and a little bit in '80s.
Yeah.
So we will see you on the next one.
Goodbye.